Call me Rashid. I'm your anthropologist and sociologist. Hit the like button, share this live stream, subscribe to the channel, become a member of the channel. Don't forget, donate the links below. Thanks for being here. It's morning for me here. I was in prayer. I was reflecting on the current events in the world. And I also remember this potential ban of TikTok that might still take place in the United States. And I wanted to reveal something about this matter that a lot of people don't notice. First thing first, let me know if you can hear me clearly, please. It's quite important. Let me know if you can hear me clearly in the live chat. Let me know if you can hear me clearly. If you're driving a car or you're in traffic listening to this live stream, please pay attention to the roads. No traffic accidents on the main watch. Thank you very much. Okay. Normally, I would wait a few minutes before I start the teaching, but this time I'm going to go right into it. TikTok is a social media app where you can make short clips. Now, in the past, it was only short clips of a few seconds. Right now, if your account is approved, you can upload longer videos. And you even have people use TikTok for their brands. You have musicians on TikTok, you have artists, you have scientists, you have scholars, you have researchers. So TikTok isn't just an app used by teenagers to make funny short videos. Now, there was a time that the common user of TikTok was I believe, 14 years old. That might have changed by now because people getting older too, but anyway, it's popular amongst the youth. So a lot of companies, also a lot of influencers and researchers are using TikTok because it's an easy way to reach the youth in the West. It's not only the West that's using TikTok, I know. And there are some countries where TikTok is completely banned, where you can't use TikTok at all. But those are not many countries. And in some countries, government devices are not allowed to use TikTok. Well, that's of no consequence to the public. But okay, this threat against, I believe the company is called ByteDance, is some Chinese corporation that owns TikTok. And ByteDance is threatened that the United States will shut down TikTok if they don't sell it. Now, I want you to think about this very clearly. I want you to examine what's going on here. And that's what I'm going to do with you. We're going to examine the situation here. Why a ban on TikTok in the United States of America? Oh, Rashid, they say because of privacy. They are concerned with the privacy of United States citizens. Okay, what about Facebook or what we call Meta right now? What about Snapchat? What about, I don't know, you have all these other apps. There are so many applications out there who are not managing data of their clients and customers properly. Why aren't they going after them? Oh, Rashid, don't you know that Meta has been under fire by the US Senate because of child grooming that was happening on their platform? Yes, I know. But you don't hear them threatening to shut down Meta or Facebook, before known as Facebook. You don't hear them trying to do that. Now, I want you to look at this. TikTok is well known amongst the youth. Many of the young people are using it. Me, I'm on TikTok too, but the app, I'm not that active on it, at least not yet. I mean, an app where the common users are teens, I don't see any. I wasn't comfortable just being active on app like that. Later on, I saw more adults being active on it too. I thought, okay, that's good, because the materials I'm making are not the teachings I'm doing on YouTube that I might want to share on TikTok too are not meant for minors, because I discuss heavy real topics. So that's why I wasn't that active on TikTok yet. I might be in the future, God knows. But okay, it's known amongst the youth. But here's another thing about TikTok. TikTok, when you post something on TikTok and it goes viral, it's very hard to stop it. And a lot of things went viral on TikTok that got people's attention. And you need to look at the timing. When is this TikTok ban coming? Around the same time that the crimes, the war crimes of the IDF, Israel Defense Force, are coming out. A lot of Israeli soldiers are committing war crimes and posting them on TikTok. And a lot of these videos have been used as evidence also in this international court case against the state of Israel. And suddenly, right now, around the same time, you have this TikTok ban coming up. And don't forget that a lot of politicians in the United States of America are Zionists. They're pro-Israel. So now that Israel is looking bad on TikTok because of actual violation of international law that have been committed by its soldiers, now suddenly there is a ban for TikTok. How come when other crimes were happening through TikTok? Because also TikTok has been used to go for crimes. Don't get it twisted. How come back then there was no idea let's ban TikTok? I mean, on Facebook, Meta is a corporation. It's a corporation. It's still called Facebook, but anyway, on Meta, far more crimes have been committed involving children also. That's why there was a Senate hearing about the United States. How come there's no potential shutdown of Meta? Look at this. You have a lot of politicians in the United States of America who are pro-Israel. They are from European descent, so what we call white. And they are pushing for the ban on an Asian app that's used by a lot of white youngsters. And a lot of those white youngsters are now developing ideas and mindsets that go against white supremacy, that go against the so-called superiority of the Western civilization. That's why they want to ban TikTok. Because TikTok is now the outlet, is now the portal that exposes all the defects and all the deficiencies of the Western world on a viral level. So the ban of TikTok is a political damage control. That's all it is. If it's really about users' data being safe, Meta should have been shut down, which includes Facebook, Instagram, everything related to Meta. But they're not doing that. But they want to go after a Chinese app. They told them, sell the app or else. Hold on a minute, just think about it. If the app is owned by this Chinese corporation, that means the Chinese corporation regulates it. Now, internally, the United States can still put restrictions on the algorithm of TikTok. They can do that to some extent. So, but why they can do that also? But why aren't they doing that? It is because they want to control TikTok so they can censor every material on it that goes against the interests of the West. That's what it's about. Because the United States government does not want the young people within the United States to see what type of a mess the country really is. And they don't want the young people to start questioning all the neglect and all the violence the United States is guilty of. That's what it's about. So, a Chinese corporation has an app. The app becomes successful, even also outside of the Chinese world. And now they go after that app to hide their own defects. Well, those defects of the United States of America and the other effects of the Western world are not the fault of that Chinese corporation, nor the fault of TikTok. TikTok is just the outlet that is now the platform where all the dysfunction is exposed at a high rate. Did anyone tell these Israeli soldiers to go out there and go wild and post all those weird videos on TikTok? No. Why didn't the IDF call them out on it and shut it down? Was it TikTok or China that made a lot of those loose women in the United States to go out there and be wild over the top on TikTok, embarrassing themselves and their families? No. Absolutely not. Should I continue? So TikTok became an outlet that a lot of people, a lot of bad people, a lot of bad and toxic people thought that it was perfectly fine to go public with their negativity on TikTok. And all the negativity went viral, embarrassed the United States and the West. Instead of admitting that they have a problem in the population that needs to be dealt with, they'll rather shut it down. Nobody talks about it anymore. We act like it didn't happen. And that is what they want to do. They want to act like nothing happened. Now, what I'm about to say now does not only apply to the Western world, okay? But we're talking about the Western world now. That means Europe, including Russia, even though people say Russia not the Western world, but for now, let's include Russia too. Europe, Russia, Australia, New Zealand, United States and Canada, Western world. In the Western world, there is one rule. There's one unwritten rule. An unwritten rule is an expectation people have, but they will not codify it on paper. When a rule is codified on paper, it's a law. And now they need law enforcement to enact it. For example, if you're driving on the left side of the road in the United States, you'll be arrested, you get a fine because you're in danger. Because in the United States, the rule is to drive on the right. If you're in Germany, it's forbidden to wear a swastika, even though the swastika itself it doesn't originate with Nazi Germany. Because swastika became the symbol of Nazi Germany, you're not allowed to show it over there because it's too painful, triggers too many bad memories of the past. Because it's codified on paper, they now have institutions taking revenge on you anytime you do put a swastika out there. So, in the world, you have written rules. Some are codified by the government, those are the laws of the land. Others are private rules in the sense that you have a business. For example, if you go to a library, you're not allowed to smoke in there, for example, or you go to Starbucks, you're not allowed to talk that loud in there. So you have private rules of private corporations or businesses. You have political rules, those are the laws of the land. And you also have unwritten rules. Those are just things people collect. It's something the collective of people want, but they won't put it on paper because what they want doesn't really add up. For example, you're not in the Western world also asking for a woman's age is considered not done. Why? Because in the Western world there's this tendency to only value women based on the sexual availability. And because there's an assumption that the older a woman is, the less sexually available she is, the older a woman is, the less she's valued. And because this is an embarrassing tendency in the Western world, that's why there's a prohibition asks woman age. Instead of people dealing with the root issue, why women are devalued so much, they focus on, to cover it up. That's why they have this unwritten rule. So an unwritten rule, for those who are not aware of it, is a rule. It's a rule that it's a restriction really that the public puts out there because there's something they're hiding. Indeed. And the thing is, some of these unwritten rules, I'm not saying they're justified, but I can understand them. Okay? I mean, for example, if you go to the northwest of Poland, people speak Polish there. But if you start asking questions about the past, people may get a bit uncomfortable. Why? Because that area used to be part of the Kingdom of Prussia, a German kingdom. After the Second World War, when that land was assigned to Poland by the Soviet Union, they expelled many Germans who were living there, removed them from their properties. A lot of them even died of hunger and thirst. A lot of the women were sexually exploited, abused, and killed. 12 million Germans, that's the estimate, were displaced from Eastern Europe after the Second World War, but nobody talks about it. I'm not saying all 12 million died as a result of displacement, but a lot of them got killed. So, asking about that past is kind of prohibited socially because it will reveal some ugly truths about the country people are not ready to deal with. Again, they should deal with the past and process it. However, not everyone is ready for it. So you can understand why some unwritten rules are there. But unwritten rules in general are restrictions to cover up either some dysfunction or some embarrassing fact about the population. Now, understand this. Unwritten rules in daily life, when it comes down to unwritten rules, are a type of blackmail. It's also extortion. It comes down to when you notice something that we don't want to address, you act like you don't see it. Because if you do address it, we make life hard on you. If you shoplift or you rob someone, it's an actual crime you committed. You damage someone else. If then people make life hard on you by trying to arrest you in prison, that's different. But for you to call out something that doesn't add up and people make life hard on you, that's blackmail and it's extortion. Why is extortion? Because they demand you to be of quality towards them while they themselves are not of quality. It's extortion, however you look at it. So, in the Western world, you have this unwritten rule. And that rule is you never question the public. That's unwritten rule in all Western countries. You don't question the public. Now, people don't mind you questioning the government. People don't mind you questioning institutions because then they can call you conspiracy theorist and make fun of you. So they don't mind you doing that. But the moment you question the public, why the people are allowing things to happen, now that's a problem. Because now, by you even questioning that, you're highlighting that the people are guilty. You're highlighting that the people are wrong. You're not incriminating them because they already incriminate themselves for being neglectful. It's just that you question the public highlights how neglectful they are. And that's something that people in the West seriously don't want. They don't. Now, there are many unwritten rules in the West. I can't go over all of them because there are too many. But all those unwritten rules come down to the following. You do not question the public. You can question your own parents. You can question your ex-boyfriend, ex-girlfriend, or ex-husband, ex-wife. You can question even your own children. You can question your church. But even your own religion, especially if you're from some cult, whatever, but to question the public, asking why the people in general are allowing bad things to happen, that's a no-go in the West. And let me tell you, that's exactly what's going on TikTok right now. Though to all those toxic and wasteful people expressing their toxic vomit on TikTok in the open like that, it forces a lot of young people to see that, hold on a minute, the people around me, including my own relatives, are quite messed up, are quite neglectful. Why are we like this? And guess what? Once the young people, because the young people are the decision makers of the future. The older people, those who are 40 and older, they are making decisions right now. But they will not be making decisions 20 years from now. Most likely will not. It's those who are in their teenage years and in their 20s now that will be decision makers very soon. So those who are older will have to live with what the younger people will decide later on. So what's going on now is that a lot of the young people in the United States of America and the rest of the Western world, let's focus on the United States of America right now, are questioning the legitimacy of their own civilization. And the more they look into it, the more they realize that they're illegitimate. Let's look at the United States, a country based on bloodshed and death. How did America come into existence? Show me how many treaties these Europeans violate with indigenous Americans. Almost every city in the United States of America, you go to the history of that city, you'll find out some bloodshed towards the native population. But now Americans are so upset with the border with Mexico, so many illegals are coming in. Hold on a minute, a few centuries ago, there were many illegals coming from Europe over there, over and over again. They didn't ask the locals anything, just came, built, and they took land from natives and massacred them. So what's so honorable about that? There's nothing honorable about that. So the more the West is questioned, the more the public around is questioned, the less effective institutions and societal institutions become. As a result, businesses will suffer also. Because think about it. In daily life, people just want to be left alone, unbothered, and at ease. That's why they go to bars, clubs, that's why they go to cafes, that's why they attend church, that's why they go to the gym. Of course, it's not the only reason people go to the gym. You go to the gym also to work out, but in general, people just want ease and to escape. The moment things are called out and people feel uncomfortable, it may lead on the short term to an increase in escapism. Like people may go to the club more often, to the gym more often. But eventually that will lead to burnout. It will lead to people exhaust themselves. It may even lead to people getting involved with drugs and alcohol in an excessive way. So when things are called out and there's no movement to rectify anything, people get anxious, upset, and eventually you'll have more unrest out there. And that unrest will turn violent. And there are not enough police officers to arrest all these people when they go off. There are not enough prisons to put them in. There are not enough courthouses to deal with all those cases. So what's happening now is that it's not just because of TikTok. Even though TikTok became a tool in this phenomena. What's going on now is that the Western world is in a meltdown. And the meltdown is getting worse day by day. Now, mainstream media does its part trying to hide the meltdown. But though to social media, people can clearly see the meltdown is happening. And it doesn't look good. Besides the low birth rate in the West, which shows massive sexual dysfunction, there are also a lot of people on antidepressants. There are also a lot of people on psychiatric medication. So much dysfunction, so many deficiencies. There's a big meltdown going on. And what the United States government wants to do is damage control. They cannot stop the meltdown, but they want to hinder the meltdown. They want to control how much damage there is. And this is what I'm teaching you. When something big happens in society, with big, I mean something that involves the government, that involves corporations, that involves big movements out there. Always ask yourself, what are they running away from? There's something they're escaping from. And now you know it. Now, I'm not saying that outside of the Western world there's no denial going on. I didn't say that. What I pointed out there is that the whole potential ban on TikTok in the United States is an act of damage control, not only for the pro-Israel lobby, who's embarrassed now by the misbehavior a lot of those IDF soldiers on TikTok, but it's also the collapse of the West of Western civilization and the ugliness of Western civilization that it can't cover up anymore by using Christianity as a mask. That is the motivation behind the ban on TikTok. And I want you to look at your own life, especially if you're living in the Western world. What are the people around you running away from? Look, what they say, oh, it has to do with the privacy and maybe spying of China, that's bullshit. That's what they say. But what's the real reason why they want to ban TikTok? And I want you to understand the following also. They are extorting this Chinese corporation to sell one of their big assets because they don't want to be called out on their neglect and their narcissism. That's what's going on. It's not that just the United States government. The United States government is acting on behalf of the masses also who don't want to face this societal meltdown. They're extorting a corporation just because they want to face their own neglect. If they're willing to do this with TikTok, what makes you think they wouldn't do it to you, an individual? If the United States government is willing to go so far against a foreign corporation just to cover up their own failures, they're using blackmail and extortion on a foreign corporation just to hide their own narcissism, collective narcissism. If they're willing to do that, that means they're willing to go after anyone, any individual in the United States of America or outside the United States of America. And why didn't the allies of the United States, like Canada, the European Union, EU countries, Britain, why didn't they tell America, America, this goes a bit too far? How come they don't intervene saying this goes too far? And here's another thing I want you to look at. There are many young people out there who are earning their living through TikTok. There are many influencers out there who don't have a 9-to-5 job, Only thing they have is a career on social media. They're earning, they're living on TikTok, so they don't work full time. They may spend 15 hours or 20 hours a week editing videos for TikTok, and hey, they get paid by sponsors. So they have a relaxed life. So hold on a minute. You have a very tiny portion of the population who are influencers on social media, and they're earning good money also with TikTok. All those people in the United States would lose their income. They can't pay rent anymore. They can't pay bills anymore. So now all those people are now forced to look for a 9 to 5 job where they're drained and exhausted, like everyone else. So on TikTok, not only is the West embarrassed and exposed, but there are a lot of people also benefiting from TikTok, while the rest of the population goes through a meltdown. So there's also jealousy and envy towards those young people who don't have to do a 9 to 5. So there's more involved in this too. I want you to learn from this TikTok ban. Now the ban has not been concluded fully yet. The Chinese corporation can still sell TikTok and it would be lifted. But I want you to learn from this. And that's not only for the Western world, but I use the Western world as a case study right now. In the world in general, when you don't give ease to the public turns on you. Simple as that. It's a one-way street. The public demand should be of quality, so you have to pay your taxes, obey the laws, you have to be polite, you have to be considerate, you shouldn't be rude, you should respect quote-unquote boundaries, whatever. But to the public, you only matter if it gets something out of you. It's narcissism, it's collective narcissism, this is what it is. That's how the world functions, including the Western world. And the moment you have a leverage to counter this narcissism, the public will turn on you. So don't just think this is TikTok. Just like they're going after TikTok right now, they'll come after you too, unless you walk by faith and you walk in power, and therefore you can overrule this violence. Because what's going on against TikTok now is violence. It's not just TikTok as a company. It's also all those influencers, a lot of them were American citizens that will lose their income because of this ban. Did they ever care about that? So this ban on TikTok will bring forth more problems for a lot of Americans, but they don't care as long as they're not questioned as a population. That's what the masses agree with. You may not have followed this whole news from TikTok, so I just summarized it for you. It's jealousy, envy that are the main motivators behind this ban. In your own life, let's forget about TikTok now. Look at your own life. Do you think everyone around you is happy with you having this leverage in your faith walk? No, they're not. If you're walking by faith and you have financial breakthroughs, oh my God, people aren't going to be happy with that. Just like the United States government is not going against TikTok right now just to cover up their own neglect, the same way people in your life, people around you, when they notice you're increasing your leverage, they will seek to sabotage and shut down your leverage. If they can't do that, they will either avoid you completely, ghost you, or they will work to get rid of you. Some will even go so far to even attempt to take your life. That's how it is. Now I was talking about the Western world. The number one unwritten rule in the Western world is never question the public. You can question your church, your religion, you can question your parents, your spouse, your exes, your friends, your children, but you cannot question the public overall. That's a no-go in the West. Any journalist doing this faces trouble. That's why even journalists are exposing scandals. They focus on specific corporations. They focus on specific individuals. Rarely will you find a journalist in the Western world asking, why are the people allowing this to happen? That's also one of the reasons why my YouTube channel got so many trolls attacking it. I have blocked so many trolls that came just to cause disruption during my live streams. Why? Because in my live streams, I don't just focus on specific individuals or specific companies, corporations. I'm not a conspiracy theorist going wild with theories. I call out the obvious. Why are people allowing this to happen? Something's wrong with the people. If I was a demonologist obsessed with evil spirits, talk about this non-existent kingdom of darkness, people will be fine with that. Because then I'm distracting people by focusing on evil spirits. But because I address the obvious, something's wrong with the population, that's what angers a lot of people. If I was a demonologist, only talking about demons all the time, I may have had 50,000 or 100,000 subscribers by now. I may have 2, 3, 4,000 views per live stream. But because I address the obvious, that something's wrong with the population, and I point out the obvious that without the leadership of Heavenly Father, nothing will improve long term, that's why a lot of people see my channel and they ghost my channel or they report my channel or they troll my channel. I'm telling you, I would have had 2, 3, 4,000 viewers by now if I was talking and saying things that validates people's escapes. But it's how it works in the world. When you actually want real solutions, you're going to realize very quickly that people are faking it one solution. A lot of them just want to escape. They'll turn you into the problem because you actually want solutions, because there's no such thing as solution without compliance. For a solution, you have to comply with a better outcome. And a lot of people out there in the world don't want to comply with a better outcome because that would require them to take responsibility, would require them to give up escaping, and would require them to submit to people who are of quality. And all of these things, a lot of people don't want to do. So when you begin to cry for real solutions, people may give you sympathy to let you think they're on your side, but a lot of them are not. A lot of them simply hope you fail or hope you just shut your mouth. Why? Because you wanting solutions will look bad on them. Because why aren't they looking for solutions? All right? Understand? The TikTok ban is just a symptom of how far gone the Western world is. It's also a symptom to remind you that there are a lot of jealous and envious people out there who can't stand you having a leverage. I'm not saying everyone out there is like that. Absolutely not. I'm not saying that. We're not paranoid over here. I'm pointing out that this TikTok ban phenomenon is a warning signal. It's a symptom that people in the West, not all, but a lot of people in the West, are desperate. They're so desperate, nothing is off limits for them. And you're going to see this more and more as the years go by. More and more people will become violent. It may not be physically violent with the guns, or with fists, all of that, but they're becoming violent and using whatever they can to shut up people that disrupt their ease. The civil attitude of just walking away and letting people live is over. More and more people becoming more and more irritated, short-fused, ready to explode because they want to be left alone. And they don't care about going to prison or they don't care about being injured. You're going to see that more and more in the West. That's why walk by faith so you will be safe. That's the only option you have. Well, it's not really an option. Because if you don't walk by faith, you will not be safe. You should walk by faith. You should walk by faith anyway, as a believer. Anyway, does this message resonate with you? let me know in the live chat. Or if you have any questions about the topic too, let me know in the live chat, please. Thank you very much. Don't think, oh, it's happening to TikTok, owned by a Chinese corporation. Well, I'm not on TikTok anyway, so it doesn't apply to me. That's foolish, superficial, stupid thinking. If a guy beats up his wife all the way in New Zealand and live all the way here in the Netherlands, you can say, well, it doesn't relate to me. Oh, indeed, the incident doesn't relate to you. Even though it's a problem, it doesn't relate to you directly. That you diss yourself if something happens in such a way is still not proper. I can understand that. But something as big as a whole government making the effort to go against a foreign corporation who has a service where many of your own citizens rely on for the income, that's a big thing you can't just ignore. Okay? This is something too many believers are doing, and I'm warning you for. I'm warning you for the following attitude. We need to unlearn, brush things off, because we just don't want to be bothered. Listen, you can't carry all the burdens of the world. I'm not telling you to do that. Absolutely not. Jesus carries the burdens of the world. That's why people have to trust him and obey him. But however, apart from that, what we have to do as believers is we need to be sensitive and alert what goes on around us. Governments don't just take action like that. They do that because they see there's an increasing problem, a problem that's increasing that they want to stop. So a lot of those influencers making money on TikTok, not needing to go to work every day, it angers a lot of people who do need to go to work. And that can lead to a lot of trouble. And they can also see that the people on TikTok often are embarrassing the West. I'm not talking about influence of other people. And because of that, a lot of people feel uncomfortable. And what happens when a lot of people feel uncomfortable, they're going to take it out on someone. So if it has come so far, even the government gets involved, you know it's quite late. But this isn't just the United States, it's the whole Western world. Every one of you. Stay prayed up, keep fasting, stay alert, examine yourselves, examine people around you. Don't be distracted. Don't go into some spiritual sleep. Don't be fooled by false doctrine. Stay sharp and alert right now like never before. I'm not a doomsday preacher. Talk about, oh, the end of the world is coming. Like there was eclipse that happened recently in America. My God, a lot of believers were saying Jesus is coming back then, or the world's going to end, the rapture's going to happen then. Oh my God, we need to stop that bullshit, please. Please. There will be no rapture. We'll be here as long until the day Jesus Christ comes back. If you're not here because you already died, you'll be resurrected. There's no rapture, and the world will get worse, but believers will get better. That's the end times. So let's all get better right now instead of looking for escapes over and over again. All right? Again, don't get any questions. Thanks for being here. Stay alert and don't be distracted by TikTok either. Because it's not about TikTok. It's about a lot of people in the West being beyond desperate, look for outlets, not caring about going to prison or being injured. So that's a very dangerous situation we're in right now. Walk by faith, agree with Christ, and be safe. See you next live stream. And don't forget, hit the like button, share this live stream, subscribe, become a member, donate in the links below. Thank you very much. If you want to contribute to the fund of my PhD, write PhD with your donation. You can do it through the PayPal link or the bank link. Don't forget, buy my novels on Amazon.